What's up, Seven Knights? This video is intended for the budget spenders, the dolphins, the light spenders of this game, to provide some advice in terms of what are some good ways to invest your money into this game. This is the type of video that I typically do for any game that I play regularly, so hopefully for those of you that are overwhelmed and confused, this could potentially help you out. So what I'm going to do is give you my personal preference in terms of how I spend in this game and give you a few options that might be worth it and a few things that honestly you can just simply avoid. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the shop here. This right here, this section of monthly subscriptions, this is the number one thing I recommend for budget players. Why? Well, the most important thing that you can do in this game is Ruby Farm, and these things help you in that goal. So the Elena's Blessing basically increases your repeat battle count, which is great, especially if you're, about to go to bed. You can set this up, go to bed, and you get a ton of rewards rather than it stopping sooner. So getting an extra 300 repeat battles instead of just a typical, I think it's like 100 that you would normally get, that's huge for gaining some more rubies and whatnot. You also get some more max keys. That's, a minor improvement. You also get 10% more gold from Adventure, which is also fine. It helps with, with your farming. Why not? But those are more added bonuses. It's the repeat battle count that's huge here. And for $10, that's really not a bad thing. The other daily ruby support. So a few things here to note is that yes, this is just a way to get more rubies, but that's not why I recommend this. This also helps your ruby farming because you do increase your hero drop rates, your equipment, accessories, and whatnot. So that will help you too. And you get 10% more hero experience, which also helps you with your ruby farming a little faster. Yes, it's a small increase, but every little bit helps. So I do recommend this. The fact that you can get extra rubies on top of all that is just an added bonus to me. But this is really primarily to help my ruby farming. And the last part about this part is the daily power-up supply. So basically, your keys reset a little faster. They regenerate a little faster. So that will also help if, let's say, you're just ruby farming all day. That will help you to, get a little more and spend a little less on your key boxes. You also get a few extra minor stuff, like you can hatch your pet eggs immediately. Uh, it's fine. It's like I said, it's an added bonus. And you also get 5 extra daily free raid entries. And if I'm not mistaken, this counts per raid. So you get 5 on each of the ones, the dragons, the Hydra, and the big Ox King guy. I think you get 5 free runs for each one every day. And farming the dungeons for like those raids are also important because that's where a lot of your best equipment's going to come from. So not only does this help you slightly with ruby farming because of the key regeneration, but it also helps you in your raid farming as well. So this is kind of a twofer right there. It's really, really nice. And of course, this does give you extra keys every day and all that good stuff too. So there's a lot of bonuses. So these 3 things in the monthly subscription, this is easily number one, the most important way to spend your money on this game. So you're looking at about 10, 17, like $21 in total. I'm rounding up. But for a little over $20 a month, you get all these benefits, which, you get to do the most important thing in this game. I have lots of rubies, lots of gold. Now, granted, I don't just spend my rubies randomly. Typically, I only pull for like one dupe of a character. Actually, I don't really pull for dupes of characters. I just get the character I want, and then I start building. And then, of course, I do get duplicates off of like fusions and the 7K chest thing and other things where you can get dupes. But I don't pull for dupes though, so I only pull for one character, which is why I have so many. And then I also use rubies to buy outfits and stuff. So rather than having to spend money to get these things, I can just, or extra money to get these things, I can just use the rubies I'm saving up by farming and doing all this stuff. So there's a lot of benefits to all this. As far as the other stuff here, none of it to me is worth it. Like all this other stuff right here, unless it's like a freebie. These are things that are nice, but you can get in game if you're patient enough to wait and just wait for it to come. I never spend on these either. I pick up the free thing, obviously, but outside of that, these are unnecessary unless you're just trying. This is more whale stuff if you're just trying to get somewhere faster, basically, but unnecessary for a budget spender. Same with the daily shop. I don't mess with that either, except the freebie. And then I never touch these either because you're going to be ruby farming, so you really shouldn't have to be doing this. Like, it's completely unnecessary. So again, number one thing to purchase in this game is this right here. Everything else you can just avoid, at least in this shop. But this isn't all. Part of the reason that this game can be overwhelming is because you have that, plus you have other things that are, I would say, at the very least decent. I believe you go to the event page. That should be right under your profile if you're using like a mobile device. So the battle pass. Now, in most games, I typically do buy battle passes, but the thing here that you got to be careful with is that there are multiple battle passes. So let me explain how some of this works. So you have the 7K pass. This is like a monthly thing. So if you're able to do, all your missions on a daily basis and get to the very end, this could be worth purchasing. I would still argue that this is completely unnecessary because all this stuff are things you can get in the game itself. So I don't think this is necessary. This is more if you happen to have a little extra, maybe, you paid your bills, you got all your groceries, and you got like $50 like chilling that that you don't think you're gonna need. You can pick up one of these every now and then. Or if you don't want to do this, you can just focus on the adventure passes. So there's one for like each section. I'm not sure how to really explain that, but if, like, for example, I completed 12 to 15 levels, so I can literally pick up all these rewards on the bottom row. Now, is it necessary? No, but I would still say it is a good value. You're getting a ton of pulls, a ton of key boxes, and of course, a lot of gold. And I think you get like a legendary egg thing too. So there are some good value in doing these adventure passes. So I think that it is worth it, but only if you happen to have a little extra. And of course, I have Adventure Pass 4 as well, which I'm currently working on. I haven't really been pushing adventure as much as I should. I'm content where I'm at as far as ruby farming, so I haven't really been pushing. But I have been slowly, seeing how far I can go. And there's also a nightmare one once you unlock nightmare mode. I've unlocked it, but I haven't really been pushing it. But this could potentially be worth it. However, not necessary. Now, one thing that I will say as advice to like when do you purchase these, I would recommend waiting till you've already completed all of it. Like here, I've already completed Pass 3. This is the time where I would be okay with spending some money because I'm getting all these rewards right now. Whereas if I were to go to Nightmare, there's no point in making the purchase because I'm not really getting anything yet. So I would probably wait until you completed all of these stages and then consider making these purchases. But again, all these battle pass stuff are stuff that is not really necessary. They're just giving you extras of stuff you're already getting in the game by just playing. So that's why this is not really high priority. However, if you're the kind of person that doesn't care about the ruby farming experience, this is probably why I'd recommend spending your money if that's the case. I still think that the other things that I showed you before are definitely a much better value, but these are not bad either. So I would say this is an okay thing to do if you just happen to have a little extra every now and then. Maybe you got income tax, a bonus at work, or just for whatever reason you paid all your monthly bills, you got all your groceries, and you have a little extra that you're able to spend, then I would say one of these at a time might be worth it. But I wouldn't go super crazy as a priority on these. And then I think The only other thing here is the relay stuff. I don't spend money on the relay stuff either. I just pick up the free stuff and move on. I don't think this is necessary. Yeah, it's only like 99 cents here, $1.99 there. But at the end of the day, you're just getting stuff that you would normally get by doing other things. They're just unnecessary. Basically, they're nickeling and diming you to death. And you really don't need to do this. And that's pretty much all of the money spending parts of the game that I can remember at the moment. But just to recap, the most important thing to purchase for any budget spender is this right here, the monthly subscription. Purchase all of these. You're looking at about a little over 20 bucks a month, add a little bit of tax, and you get like the best benefit in this entire game, which is basically stuff to help you your Ruby farming. This is literally the most important thing in this game, at least to me. So if you're a budget player like myself, this is my number one recommendation. Secondary recommendation would be the battle pass stuff, and that is literally it. There is nothing else in this game worth spending your money on if you're a budget player. That's pretty much it. So this isn't going to be a long video, but this is a video that I do like to do for the budget players, because that's basically who I cater to, are the budget players, because that's just how I am. I'm a Dolphin. I've been a Dolphin since forever. So I'm hoping that this helped you out, because I know in the beginning it was a little overwhelming because there was so many options. But now that I've played long enough and seen the benefits, I can say with confidence what are the best bang for your buck. So if anybody has any other suggestions, I'm definitely willing to listen. But again, this is not for the whales of the world. It's just for the dolphins. But I do appreciate you taking the time to listen to this video, and hopefully we'll see you again. You take care, guys.